Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, partners, and potential investors. This is StartupFuel, where we bring business plans to life. Sitting with me here is Grant from Rover Parking, who's going to tell us a little bit about his company, and we're going to dive deep into his background. So to start off with, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about, what brought you to this point in your life and what you did before you started Rover.
Sure, yeah. So, my background's been in tech for probably, 25 years or so. I worked for some big software companies like Oracle, spent about 8 years in the Valley working for a startup, went through the whole .com kind of boom and bust. How I ended up getting here was I came up with an idea and it actually got picked up by the Dragon's Den. I went on the Dragon's Den without even creating anything. Created it for that after the show was taped, so I had it ready to being aired, and made me really aware of these networks of people that exist out there to sort of help support people that have ideas, kind of the whole launch of, I guess, a crowdfunding or crowd sourcing type of idea. And then it really started from there. So was thinking about something new to create, and Airbnb and Uber were taking off, and I had some early exposure to that. So in the back of my mind, I thought that business model probably has a lot more capabilities and makes a lot more sense for some additional potential services.
Yeah, parking makes total sense. It's a perfect partner with what Uber is trying to do, but for parking spaces. So now, can you give us a 30-second elevator pitch of exactly what Rover Parking is? You can even flip the camera if you want.
Sure, yeah. So Rover is a marketplace for shared parking. We're often referred to as the Airbnb of parking. So if you look what Airbnb has done, Airbnb has taken space that wasn't really associated with people staying in it and converted it into that. So we've done the exact same thing. We've taken space that is traditionally not associated with being available for public parking, like people's driveways, businesses spots, churches, schools, etc. And we've created this brand new distributed supply in multiple cities. On the other side, with the technology, we've created an app that allows people to use the app and go out and find and rent and pay for those spaces all on their phone.
So what kind of mediums do you currently use to connect to your audience? I know you touched upon having an iOS app and Android web version, but what is the capabilities of some of these mediums?
To go out and get customers to download the app, we use almost all the traditional kind of digital mediums. So we advertise on Facebook and Twitter, on Instagram, some of the other social platforms. We're just starting to do some in-app advertising. So obviously figuring out the model for Toronto, both from the perspective of having enough supply and having the demand, and that ratio being relevant, so that when we do grow, when we do go into other cities and launch, we have a good understanding of how much money do we need to get into a city, how many spots do we need before we can kind of crank on the demand side, much in the same way as Uber and Airbnb do when they go into new cities.
So what kind of an investor would be perfect for Rover if they came in at whatever amount you want?
Yeah. Obviously somebody that understands the space we're in and how this technology works and the adoption life cycle of users. So somebody who understands that this is a mobile business, it's a marketplace, the slope growth curve metrics need to be in certain ratios to make sense. So that being said, investors that are on the supply side potentially. So obviously one of the things that we don't do that we could probably do a lot more of if and when the technology shifts or when we have the appropriate partners is on the condo side or the underground parking side, and that involves technology around access and egress out of secured locations. So we're already we're talking to companies that do that right now. And then the other partnerships could involve either partnerships or even acquisition are obviously the car companies. So having the ability to either offer parking as a product or it being a part of that user experience. So we're already having those conversations with pretty much every major OEM company in North America.
Now I think I would like you to turn your attention to the camera, and just talk to your customers. And people are looking out there at you and saying, why should we use Rover? What is it about Rover that's different from what's currently a solution out there? And just give them an idea of why they should download the app now.
Sure. Yeah. The conversations to our customers that are parkers is pretty straightforward. If you want cheap parking, you want easy parking, you want to save on your fuel, you want to help the environment, There's really no reason why you shouldn't use Rover to park. You can pay for it on your phone. You don't need to carry around change in your pocket. You're not going to get a ticket. You're not going to get towed. You can extend if you need be, and you're putting money into the pockets of the people in the community. And then on the other side, on the supply side, the very simple analogy I make to people, if somebody came to you every day and handed you a $10 bill, or came actually to your house when you weren't home and put a $10 bill in your mailbox, and every day you came back and you got that $10 bill, is that something you would say no to? Probably not. And that's literally how easy Rover is to use. Most of the time, you don't even know the car's in your driveway, and that piece of your driveway or your parking spot, sits empty and it's not doing anything, and it's yours. You own it, and you have the right to monetize it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And for anyone out there who wants to get more information about Rover, whether it's investors, whether you're a partner, want to learn anything, we can put a link in the description below of where we can get in contact with Grant, and you can find out more about it and a place to download the app as well. So again, thank you so much for coming out, and I'm gonna definitely encourage you to keep hustling, keep grinding, and hopefully we can find you some good connections to go out with.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much.